Hi, and welcome to Living Matters podcast. I'm Nicky. I'm your co-host, and I'll be honest with you, today feels really important. It's a really important conversation that we're going to have, but today does also feel quite different because this is the first Living Matters podcast episode that we are recording without our gorgeous Sarah. But these conversations were really important to Sarah because she was intent and on a mission to share real stories of people who were living with illness, and specifically to talk about the support that is available to everybody. And so I'm joined today by Erika and by Jenny. So I'd love the ladies just to introduce themselves.
So hi, my name's Erika and I'm the Health Promotion Officer for Newcastle Breast Screening Service.
Thank you so much. And hi, Jenny.
Hi, and I'm Jenny, and I'm here as somebody who's gone through breast cancer.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm looking forward to diving in with both of you lovely ladies today. So, Erika, I'm going to start with you. Please, can you tell us a bit about what your role is?
So my role is to promote the screening service, encourage ladies to attend their appointments and help to remove any barriers that prevent people from attending their screening appointments.
Okay, brilliant. So can we start off with who should be coming for screening?
Anybody who's registered at a GP as female between the ages of 50 and 70 should be attending their breast screening appointments.
Okay, and do they have to ask for them or are they invited?
You automatically receive them every 36 months, regardless of whether you attend or not. We will send for you every 36 months.
Okay, and what's the show up rate and what's the biggest fears? Because I'm guessing there's a lot of fears and reasons that people don't attend.
It's the fear of the unknown, and it's a fear that it's going to hurt.
Right.
And it's not as uncomfortable as what people tell you it is. And there's lots of things that we can do to help support you to achieve your mammogram, from pre-visit visits, one-on-one sessions with myself. There's lots of different things that we can do to help you achieve your mammogram, and there's lots of different support to help.
Okay, so can you tell me, because I've never actually had one, but in a few years I'll start getting invited. So what actually happens when people show up for the appointment?
So when you arrive, you're either invited to a mobile screening unit or you will be invited to the static site in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
The mobile unit is completely accessible. We have stairs, but we also have wheelchair access, so the mobiles are completely accessible. When you arrive, we're a service run by women for women. We have no male staff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll have no male staff at all. So which is a really good thing for a lot of people from different cultures to realise there's no male staff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You arrive to reception, you're greeted on arrival, the girls will check your details, check who you are, check your date of birth, make sure we've got the right person, and then you're popped into a cubicle. We'll ask you to undress to the waist and you go from there straight into the x-ray room. We only book 8 minutes per lady, so that's how quick the whole procedure is. And that includes checking your details and having the mammogram. And that's how short of appointment time it is. So it is really quick. It's really efficient.
It's really short. So what does the actual procedure look like? You just said they go in for the x-ray. So what do you do?
You have 4 pictures. You have 2 from top to bottom and 2 from side to side. The mammogram machine is very hard to describe, but we'll have a flexible paddle that we stand you in front of the machine. We start with one breast and then we start with the other one. We normally start with the top to bottom views, which is where the paddle comes down, you stand right up against the machine and the paddle comes down and squashes your breast. Now, the reason we use compression is to reduce radiation dose. It's not for any other reason than to spread the tissue and to reduce the radiation dose. Because you are walking through that door as a well woman, we have to make sure we are giving you the lowest dose of radiation possible. So that's one of the reasons why we use compression. It does have to be tight because we don't want to have to repeat the image. We need to make sure we get a diagnostic image first time around without having to repeat anything and expose you to more radiation, because at the end of the day, radiation can cause cancer. So we need to make it as efficient as possible and to get a diagnostic image. So you have 2 from top to bottom, and then we do a sideways view that I quite often see as a glamour model pose, where you put your hand on your head and you lead into the machine, and you have 2, one side and one the other. And what we're aiming to do is image the whole of the breast, get right back to the chest wall and get your lymph glands on underneath your arm, so we can image everything to make sure we don't miss anything off.
So, and tell me if I've got this wrong, because I might have. So, do you get kind of clamped from top
It's a
to
flexible
bottom?
paddle, yeah,
Yeah.
and side to side.
And then side to
Yeah.
side. So the boob is being squished this way and then
Yep.
this way.
Mhm.
It does sound uncomfortable. I know
It
it's
is
very
un-
important.
It
But
is uncomfortable. I would never lie and say it's not uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable, but it literally lasts seconds.
right.
Literally seconds.
Right. Okay.
The most difficult bit is actually getting you into the right position, because we need to make sure we've got the whole of the breast on
Mhm.
and that everything looks right before we actually press that button. So that's a bit, but it is really, really quick.
So, yeah. So I guess the struggle then is getting the person into the right position to make sure that all of the tissue that you need to be looking at is
Mhm.
available
Yep.
and visible.
But we'll have lots of tricks and techniques that we can use for anybody who has mobility issues. We can adapt our technique to the person.
Mhm.
One of the things as a person who takes the x-rays, one of the things that's really difficult is if someone walks from the cubicle door into the room with their hands across the chest, because what you do from the minute you open the door, you're assessing that person to know what angle you need to put the machine on, because we adjust the machine to every single person. So if someone walks through the door with their hand across the chest, you instantly can't start to look and see what you're going to do and how you're going to adjust that machine for that lady. So
Yeah.
that is something that for us as staff instantly makes it and can make it a little bit more uncomfortable, because we're sort of trying to maneuver the machine and you at the same time, rather than we make that snap decision from when someone walks through the door. And that's
Right.
the skill of the job, is knowing what angle you need the machine on for that woman.
Okay. This is really helpful actually, because I didn't know any of this, by the way. So it takes a few seconds this way and that way. The whole procedure takes 8 minutes. And then what happens? So how long till you get the result, and how does the
2
result
to 3
come?
weeks for the results to come through the post. You receive your results first. Your GP actually receives the whole practice sort of results. They get bulk results, but you get your results within 2 to 3 weeks. And if there's anything that we need to bring you back for clinic, you have to be back within 2 to 3 weeks. You have to have an appointment.
So meaning what? If you've done this, if you've done the
So if
scan,
we've
you've
seen
seen something.
something that we need to check out further, out of 100 women that we screen, roughly 4 are brought back to clinic where there's something that we need to look into further. And out of that, roughly 1 will go on to have a cancer diagnosis.
Ah, right. Okay. So the numbers are relatively
Yep.
low.
Mhm.
So the biggest blockers, if you like, are people worrying. So like you said, it's the fear of the unknown
Pain.
and pain.
Mhm. So everybody has seen those memes and things on social media, where the woman's in the machine and the breasts are squashed completely flat, and there's all these
Uh-huh.
things that go around, and it's not, and it is for a reason, but it isn't, and you do control it. So if you get to a point where you can't take any more, we will stop. There's lots of different ways that we can do things, and you are in control. We're not just going to go, right, we'll just carry on and just keep
Stay
going
there,
regardless.
yeah.
We're not horrible like that, but it
Mhm.
is important. We do need to get the right amount of compression on to get a diagnostic image.
Yes. Okay. So what do you wish more people would know?
It's not as painful as what people tell you it is, and how quick it is. It's really a quick, efficient service.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of things that you can have to help support you along the way to get you to that point to have your mammogram. I do lots of work with lots of different people who have lots of different fears, and it's just working through those fears. Pre-visit visits for someone who's extremely anxious. I do pre-visit visits where someone can come along, have a little look around the mobile unit. I show them how the x-ray equipment works.
Mm-hmm.
They can have a sit in the cubicle, so when they actually come for the appointment, the fear of the unknown isn't there. And I'll show them how the compression works so that people aren't as scared and know exactly what to expect, which is makes a huge difference.
That is really helpful actually, because there's often people who become so scared and so anxious about the idea of something and anything to do kind of medical checks and things like that they will talk themselves out of it. So the fact it reminds me actually, when you in the olden days when they used to let you kind of walk around the cockpit in the
Yeah.
aeroplanes, you could kind of see what was going on. It feels slightly like
That's
exposure therapy type.
That's the idea. It's a fear of the unknown is a huge thing, and lots of people love to go away and go, "Oh, that was extremely painful. painful, that really hurt. And I'll always say to somebody, if you said that to your friend and that stopped them from coming, and then they turned out to have a cancer later down the line, how would you feel knowing that through you going back and saying that it made them not go? It's that whole thing of thinking about it and not filling people full of unnecessary fear. I think lots of people like to, everybody finds it different, but there's lots of things we can do to make it easier to achieve.
Yeah. And I think the fear of, but what if they find something? And I can imagine I'm going to be like this when I start getting over, but oh my God, what happens if you find something? And I also think that, as difficult as it would be, it's better to know than to not know. And so is that what you tend to find as well, is that the earlier people can
Early
come?
diagnosis is key. That is the key. That's why the screening program was started. That is why I do what I do. Early diagnosis is key. 1 in 7 women will get a breast cancer in their lifetime, but that doesn't have to mean it's a death sentence. But you have to get the early diagnosis. That's the thing. Anything that changes out of your normal, it is so important, regardless of whether you had your mammogram or not. It's important to get it checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're never wasting anybody's time. I think people often feel like, I can't go, I'm wasting their time, I just had a mammogram. It's not. Would rather you came 100 times and it'd be nothing than you ignore something. An early diagnosis is key. Get yourself checked out, an early diagnosis.
Okay. Which makes me wonder, because 50 is kind of, almost feels a bit late in a sense to be getting these checks.
So a lot of breast cancers are connected to your change in hormones, which is connected to the menopause. And prior to COVID, we were part of an age trial that was looking at reducing the age to 47 and increasing the age to 73. And what that was looking at was, were we picking up more cancers through reducing the age to 47 and increasing the age to 73? Unfortunately, nationally, a lot of the women who were invited at 47 didn't take up their appointment. So we had a really not very good uptake. The 73-year-olds all were quite happy to come along, but we couldn't get the 47-year-olds to come along. And that was nationally, and there wasn't enough data collected to see whether we were picking up more cancers or not.
Mm-hmm.
And with COVID, it was put on hold and it hasn't been reinstated again yet. And I don't know whether it will or not, but yeah, the age trial was put on hold.
Right.
But a lot of breast cancers are connected to hormonal changes, connected to your menopause. And that's why the screening service, there was lots of research into where we should start and how regularly we should do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. What about, and Jenny, I'm going to come to you, but I've got a million questions. Fair, okay. So for people who are younger than 50, what's the advice in terms of how often they should be? So what does that mean? How do you check?
Get to know you. We're all different. Your normal is your normal, but it's not my normal. And if you don't know your normal, how will you notice if anything changes?
Mm-hmm.
Check yourself in the shower. Get to know your own lumps and bumps. We all have lumps and bumps. Know where you are in your cycle. Know how you change and use the mirror. That's a common thing that people don't use, is use the mirror. Stand in front of the mirror. See where you sit on your chest wall. See what size and shape you are. Always say, remember, they're sisters, not twins. We've all got one bigger than the other. Know those differences. Know what your nipples look like. I've screened for 25 years and I haven't seen a pair the same yet. You have to know your own changes in your own skin and generally get to know you. And anything at all that changes out of your normal, get it checked out.
Okay. Right, brilliant. So thank you. And I'm going to come back to you. I will. But so Jenny, you are one of the users of Sarah's stock. Can you give us a little bit of the context and your experience, please?
So just actually listening to there, it's like the younger age and to just get checked out. Absolutely. I was 47 when I was first diagnosed.
Right.
And that, any changes to breast is exactly what took me to the doctor originally was. And it wasn't the stereotypical that you think about, there was a lump. So it was just, I had pain and I had a change in shape.
Mm-hmm.
So following the pain,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's what took me to the doctor originally. So I think that message of, if you're younger than 50, if you're at 50, don't stop because of age. Like be really aware and and go and get checked out. Definitely.
So were you someone who was a regular checker?
No, not at all. No. Just literally just had a pain that lasted for an evening, and it was a very unusual pain. It was very, very sharp,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't let up. for a whole evening. So my whole attention was on this pain, which I thought, well, I've never, you're the same, you get niggles, you get the odd sharp stabby pain, but it's kind of instant. But this didn't stop. So I was very aware, which then maybe took me to the mirror the next day. And it's like something looks different. So, and the team, the GP and the breast care team were really, really good at listening and believing what was there, because there wasn't a lump. They really did listen, though, and follow up.
So what did you do then after you had the sharp pain? Did you ring the doctor and say, I need to come in and talk to the doctor about what's happened?
Yeah, the next morning.
And then what sort of unfolded after that?
And then it's a 2-week referral to the breast care clinic. So within 2 weeks, I was seeing the breast care team at North Tyneside General Hospital.
Yeah,
and I think they call it like a one-stop shop thing. Is that the name of it? So you go and you see the consultant, discuss what's happened, why you're there. She takes your history. She does a little exam. And again, it was an all-woman team at that point. She sent me for a biopsy there and then. Might have had a mammogram that day as well. I don't really remember everything, but definitely remember going for the biopsy. And although that was a gentleman doing the biopsy, and he was absolutely just so lovely. It's so well done. And then went back to the consultant after that and just kind of discussed what happened there, and then waited for, I think they put another appointment in. So I had the date of when I was going back. Yeah, which was very soon. Again, it was within 2 weeks, a date to go back. Yeah, but unfortunately for me, that was a diagnosis when I went back.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry for that. I mean, it kind of must be your worst nightmare, really, to go in and get the diagnosis.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But
we have to call a spade, don't we? We have to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, what happened? And it was very, I got it quickly. I think the team was amazing. I couldn't be more grateful for everything. And I think, you are where you are, aren't you? You've been into a breast care clinic. You've seen everything. You've had all the tests done. So you are just waiting for results, and you're just in that, and that is the worst time. I think anybody will tell you that, the waiting for the results, because you don't know what's going to come, and then the waiting for knowing what treatment will happen.
Yeah.
Once treatment starts, it's a difficult road, but you know what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And back when you got your diagnosis, there wasn't such a charity as Sarah's Star itself didn't exist. Was there any sort of similar alternative support?
There was Maggie's that still goes. It's not that local, that easy to get to, like physically, because it's up at the Freeman. So that's more difficult. And it's, I don't know. Maggie's is an excellent charity. It's fine, but it's a big national charity, and it was really busy in there. There's just a lot going on there, which is great. You can get a lot of access to everything like that. But Sarah's Star is small. It just feels very personal when you go in. I think it almost feels like somebody kind of takes care of you and picks you up and kind of envelops you in a hug, and you stay in there. Yeah.
Do you know what's really interesting? When you started talking about Sarah's Star, your eyes lit up. They really did. What does it mean to? What does the charity itself, and what did Sarah mean to you?
Oh, Sarah, as we know, was an incredible person, and I think sitting with Sarah and knowing what she's dealing with every day, but there's just no sign of it when you're with her. She's got her makeup on, she's dressed,
she looks on point.
100%. She's 100% in the room with you. She listens to all your little woes, which in comparison are nothing. And just sitting there with her and knowing it's like, oh God, if you take one thing, I don't know, it's like almost carry on just being you and putting 100% in. And I know how tiring everything is, and that's not going through the same treatment that Sarah is, but if you're going through chemo and radio and that, you are exhausted, 100% exhausted, and showing up for things and trying to be there for other people is really difficult. Sarah just did it. She just made it look like this is what she's about.
She totally did. And she knew it. And she would laugh sometimes and say, I know I made this look easy. Because, and for everyone who was kind of around her, whether it was people at the charity or her friends and family, they would say, you just look perfectly healthy, and perfectly well. And it was easy to forget how ill she was. Really.
Definitely.
But she was so intent. And this has been my reflection in the last few months as well, but she was so intent on showing people that if you're ill, it's not the end. You can still be really useful, and you can still live your life and enjoy your life, even if you've got this, this illness that you're facing into. And she did it. She did the whole thing with such courage, really, and such bravery. And I think she was driven so much by the mission of, I just don't want anyone to feel like they're alone in this. If there's someone who's facing this, I want them to know there's somewhere for them to go to, where people will get it and people understand and will envelop them in a hug. And I personally, I think that that's how she managed to live for so long. Apart from the fact she was doing all of these 95-mile walks with Joanne and the rest of the girls pretty much every day, which I think really kind of built her up. I think the charity gave her such a massive sense of purpose. And obviously she wanted to create the legacy for Chris and the kids as well, and for everybody who was sort of supporting her with the charity. But I think she was just a phenomenal example of showing up and being there for other people, regardless of what was going on in her own life.
And I was talking to a brother, and I was saying to him about how amazing it is how much she gave to everybody. And it was him who pointed out, it was a two-way thing. She gave, but she got back so much in return. And I agree. That
He's
is
very
what
wise, Brian.
kept her
He's
going,
like a wise Buddha. Comes out with these nuggets.
and it sticks. Yeah, Brian, you're right.
Yes.
But literally, he's right, because, and it goes back to all, and everyone doing things for other people and trying to live your life for other people, and just, she really did it. And you could see how much it worked for her.
Yeah.
And I think, that is what we've got to just do.
Yeah.
Put your own issues aside and, be there for other people and carry on doing that. And it actually makes your life a little bit better.
Yeah. Amazing. So what would you want someone who's sitting at home wondering whether they would be welcome into Sarah's Star sort of environment? What would you want to say to them?
Well, just don't hesitate. Just don't. And I did hesitate. Actually, I had heard of Sarah's Star, and I didn't go until somebody else asked me to go.
Right.
And the same, from the first moment I walked in, it was like, oh, this is lovely. This is so welcoming. That I would just say to everybody, just take that step. And I think the first step is always the hardest, is really you go for the mammogram. If you go and you see you're taken care of when you get there, it's the same here. You'll get taken care of as soon as you get there. Somebody will take care of you and, get you access into everything that's going to work for you. And you'll never, ever look back.
So, when you said there you'd thought you'd sort of seen it, but felt a bit reluctant to go. What was, because I bet there's other people listening thinking they might be having the same experience. What was the reluctance, really?
I don't know. And I don't even know if it was reluctance. It was just, I don't really know what it is. I don't really know anything about it. I've heard the name Sarah's Star.
Yes.
I know it's something, I think I connected it with cancer, but I realise it's more than that. It's all illnesses. But I don't know how it will be. So it's a silly thing, isn't it? Because if you just take that step in the door, you'll know how it will be.
Yeah.
But I just didn't do that until somebody else asked me to go there. And it is that, no, just, anybody that's thinking about it. And perhaps I thought I didn't know what I would need from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I need anything? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't necessarily need to need anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really lovely community, and I think you get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, it's what you put in, isn't it, and what you get out. It's
Of course,
you
yeah.
definitely. Anybody would find something there. They do a good range of
well, now might be
things,
a good opportunity actually. So if you're listening and thinking, well, what might I be able to get from Sarah's Star? So there's so many services and sort of support groups that are available. So everything from, there's a brilliant book club that's run by Alex. She loves to tell you that it's the most subscribed service. So hi, Alex, if you're watching. But so it's a really good book club, and that's a lovely community. There's Pilates, and so even if you're kind of limited mobility or anything like that, Steph is amazing, and she will kind of make a bespoke session depending on who is actually in the room. So we've got Pilates, we've got sound bath. Alison does the most incredible sound baths. And if you're not sure what a sound bath is, it's where you see all of those fancy glass bowls of different shapes and sizes. And so she's gonging this one and then making, beautiful vibrations off all the different bowls, but it's a sort of energy restoring, like healing kind of practice. Amy is incredible with Reiki. So she offers Reiki sessions on a Friday. I think they're around about 30 to 45 minutes each. And again, that's kind of energy restoration and healing. What else have we got? We've got there's death cafes. Have you been to a death cafe?
I haven't been to a death cafe, and that was almost Sarah's mission to try and get me to one, because I was very much like,
get you to one?
Step too far, Sarah.
Can I get you to? Well, so why? That's interesting though, because what's the perception?
I don't know. I'm very British,
Have you been to one of the death cafes? Would you be interested?
I would, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you could come to the next one. So the next one, I think, is on the 26th of March. And when I feel like, so if you haven't been to one, what do you imagine that it's all about?
I really don't know, which is why I find it intriguing.
Have a guess.
Like planning, talking about, making it more normal to talk about, rather than it being, something that people don't like to talk about, and talking about it a bit more open and that sort of thing is what I would surmise it is.
Well, it's definitely that. It's about, and this was part of Sarah's mission, because years ago, Sarah and I used to sit and say, we as a country are terrible. We're crap at talking about death. No one talks about death. But it's inevitable, and then so it happens and everyone's knocked sideways because you don't know what to do and you don't know what to think and all the rest of it. So she didn't come up with the idea, with the concept of death cafes, because there are other countries that do that, but she wanted to bring it here. And you kind of have, normally we do it in a cafe, sometimes do it in Sarah's Star venue itself. And normally there's a guest speaker, so it might be me, it could be somebody else who does a sort of short speaking slot just to give you some food for thought. And then everyone's on their tables. There's normally about 4 or 5 people per table, and you get cards, death cafe cards. So you turn over the card and it might say something like, what kind of burial do you want? Right? Or it might say, have you written your will? Or it might say, what do you think happens after you die? Is there life after death? And so you turn your card and you have the conversation, and everyone just has a chance to sort of speak and, and get their thoughts. There's no judgment. And the funny thing is, it's very often hilarious, because you might imagine the death cafe is like really morbid and everyone's crying their eyes out and feeling sorry, about this and that. And it's the last thing in the world. There's cake, there's coffee, there's tea, everybody's chatting. And the amount of laughter that flows in the room, it's really incredible. It's strange, because people, when they're leaving, they'll say that's one of the most uplifting things I've done in ages. So have I sold it to you, Jenny?
Maybe I should.
Do I need to keep going?
I've come here and done this, so maybe that's
it is your next step. It is your next step.
Maybe I'll give it a lot of thought.
Give it a thought and give it a bash. Honestly, there's nothing to lose. It's a couple of hours.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe if, right, there's a challenge then to everybody listening, right? If somebody listening makes that step into having their mammogram, makes the step into Sarah's star, and finds out what it's like and actually goes through with these, and then I will make the step and go to the deaf
Okay, so
cafe.
this is
How's
Jenny
that?
throwing down the gauntlet. Jenny's specifically saying, if you go book your mammogram, she will come to the deaf cafe, right? And this will make my dreams come true, because Sarah was trying to get Jenny to go to the deaf cafe.
She really was, bless her.
So let us know if you do decide to get booked in. But are you going to join us for the next deaf
Well,
cafe?
I might have a look. It sounds really interesting.
It's honestly, it's so good. I mean, some of the conversations can get slightly emotional, as you would expect, you know, but very often I would say the overarching sentiment of it is just people laughing and connecting, and it's just a lovely,
It's
safe
inevitable,
place.
though, isn't it? And it's making it a little bit more so you can talk about things, rather than keeping it buried inside, and it's easier to deal with.
Yes, that's exactly it. So yeah, there's tons of support available via Sarah's Star. So if you can have a look at Sarah's Star on Instagram and Facebook and on the website as well. And also, if you've got value from this conversation, then go and have a look at our previous podcasts as well. They're a really fabulous way of getting to know Sarah herself. She was very honest and very open throughout all of the conversations, because she really wanted to give people insights and information and hope as well, that you can live well, even though you might be facing an incurable illness. So what would be your sort of closing thoughts for both of you? Erika, I'll start with you. Is there any other main message that you would love people to take away?
Don't be frightened of the unknown. There's lots of support out there, and come along for your mammograms. And if you are scared, get in touch with the office, and there's lots of things we can do to help you achieve your mammogram, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, so you heard it from Erika. Don't be scared of the unknown. Okay, take the step. Put your mind at peace, and go and get yourself checked in. And Jenny, what about for you?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines, and to add to it that, once you've taken that one step, then you can take a second step and then a third step. And it's a bit like, I went to Sarah's Star. It was there in me. And then because something happened, I went. And then I've done that step. And then because I've done that, and I did the Pilates, and I felt more confident in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I've done some other exercise, and I've done something else. And now I honestly think that's going to make me say, I'm going to have to go to the deaf cafe now.
Result.
Because I'm saying it, take a step you don't know, and you're just trying it. And that one step can just give you confidence to do the next thing.
Yeah.
And the next thing. And you need to do these things.
That's such a wonderful philosophy about, like, just don't cut off the possibility, and just say a little yes, and then you never know what else might open up for you.
That's it. The doors open up, don't they? If you don't walk through them, you've got to walk through the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much to both of you. It's been wonderful having the conversation. Really helpful. Full of really interesting information, and hopefully that message has landed nice and clearly for everybody about going in for their appointment. So thank you so much, and thank you so much as well for sharing your personal experience. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that's the end of the conversation for today. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Get in touch if there's any information about anything that you want. If you've got a specific question for Jenny or Erika, I'm sure they'll be really happy, or for me, we'll be very happy to answer your questions. But for now, lots of love, and we'll see you soon. Bye.